Hello guys, and welcome to a World of Tanks video today. Last Thursday I asked you guys what game you would like to see on my channel on Thursdays, and well, you chose World of Tanks mostly, but there were a lot of suggestions for other games. So what I've decided to do, this isn't an update video today, just so you know, but I've decided I'm going to do a different game every week, and each week you'll have to vote for the game you want to see the next week. So if you want to continuously see World of Tanks on my channel, then keep voting for it and I'll keep putting it up. That way then you have basically full control of the content I put on my channel. Anyway, today I'm bringing you World of Tanks. Now I'm playing this replay from the perspective of how I look at this game. Now it's going to be terribly jerky, and the reason for that is because I have a very sensitive mouse, which is okay in some respects, but basically it's not the best way to play this game, but it allows me to look around very quickly. And you can see, because I've changed my controls in World of Tanks, I basically have to swivel my turret as well to look around. So if I have a fast mouse, I can quickly turn the mouse backwards and forwards to have a look around. Now here you can see I creep up on the back or in front of a T-43. He makes a mistake of turning the back of his turret towards me, and I fire into the back of his turret as soon as he does so. Behind that you can see a T-43 creeping up. That is exactly the same tank as which I am currently running. Now this was a game that I played with a member in a platoon, and you can see here that I reverse backwards to find a grill behind me, which is not what I expected. Anyway, I fire again at this Churchill and penetrate it, but unfortunately do no damage, and continue to fire onto that until he retreats behind the buildings on the left. Now you're probably wondering why I keep coming out of sniper mode so often. And that's basically to keep myself aware of anything around me. So it may be a bit annoying to some of you, but it gives you a great impression of what the hell is around. Anyway, that Churchill gets finished off that I poked at, and using sniper mode I fire over the back of this KV-1S in front of me to score a penetrating hit onto the T-49, and another one once my gun reloads. That one missed, but I haven't done any damage so far. That one did ricochet off his mantle. Not the best place to shoot a tank, that's for sure, but the only place I could see, unfortunately, so I had to shoot at it. When I move forwards into better cover, I'm facing my sloping armour towards him. Unfortunately, he hits my fuel tank on the side of my tank and continues to do damage to me. Now at this point I'm thinking, this is not a good battle for me. Turret now gets hit, and I obviously can't turn that as quickly anymore. So I decide to basically fall back. That was the idea. I can see a heavy tank flanking round the back of us, so I decide to move backwards to take care of that before the Tiger destroys the IS along with the help of the Crusader tank that is pushing onto it. So here you can see I'm coming back to support that tank and remaining in the cover behind this ramp until they start to push round onto the IS, which they'll inevitably do, because there is currently 3 tanks there. Unfortunately the Tiger stops just before I get the shot, so I bounce off the front of him, but using my initiative I move forwards and unfortunately fire an unsnipered shot and miss the Crusader before I can get the kill. The IS then goes on to get that kill, but unfortunately gets hit again by the Tiger in the front. Spotting the ELC AMX, I line up to take a shot and do hit that successfully as he tries to escape. He does get around behind the house, and I decide to continue to move forwards while my teammate in the back spots a AMX 105 coming round to hit him at close range. Now a lot of artilleries lately I've seen while I've been playing this game have actually been rushing quite a lot, and it's one of those weird things. It was kind of strange that I had that grill behind me at the beginning of the match, and it just showed really as the AMX tries to escape. But to be honest, it's one of those things. I managed to get a quick sniper kill on that, even with my accuracy down. And now, basically, it's me, my platoon mate, and an IS left on the team versus 6 of them. I've currently got 2 kills, my teammate's got none so far. This IS round here's got 3, so we both go back to support him as quickly as possible to make sure that this guy doesn't die in vain. He manages to hit an ELC AMX and then pushes forwards towards the Panzer IV. And with that Panzer IV retreating from that building away from the IS, he reveals his side armour to me, and I shoot him well in the side with sniper mode, and then continue to press around the corner towards a Jagdpanther, which I can see is aiming at the IS. I shoot it in the lower plate, reducing it to 100 health with the help of the IS shot, and then try and peek out again when he twists his tank to the left, giving me another chance to get a shot. Unfortunately that bounces, but with him firing back at me I know he's still reloading. I'm going to take that chance to shoot him again in the lower plate for the kill. Now on 4 kills I decide to turn myself round and help my teammate, or platoon mate, with the KV-1S and an AMX-12T. Now the AMX-12T can be quite annoying at close range because they have an autoloader. However, this KV-1S did not pose so much of a threat because my teammate has a Black Prince which has a good amount of armour. Now unfortunately I missed that shot onto the AMX-12T, which is quite embarrassing considering my entire reticule was circled around it. But you saw that I tried to turn away there, and that was basically me trying to communicate with my teammate to decide to go around behind them. Now we decided against that because the IS already did. And this was a good decision because it allowed me to continue to support my platoon mate at close range, stopping anything from outflanking him. So I was basically his rear guard at the moment. And throughout the rest of this game you'll see that we will use perfect teamwork to take out the rest of the team. We've got it down to 3 versus 3 now. The IS is still alive and is currently trying to take out the AMX-12T. One thing that I really am good at on this map is having good map awareness. And you'll see soon that I noticed that the AMX-12T is coming up behind us. There we go, I turn around, see it's only on 4% health and line up the shot. And unfortunately miss. He misses a shot at me, fortunately, and I finish off with the kill shot. And then continue to turn around and help my teammate with the KV-1S, which is trying to harass him. Now knowing that there's not much chance of me getting a decent shot on, I tell him to push up so that I can get over to the left side of the road and we can kill him off together. He takes a shot and I try and line up mine in sniper mode to try and hit his commander's hatch. But fortunately my teammate gets the shot off and we kill him. So that leaves me on 5 kills and my teammate on 1, and we're heading for the last kill, which is an IS. Now I'm just going to fast forward this because it's actually not the most crazy kill, to be honest. Basically I'm 1 kill away from Top Gun, so at this point I'm trying to convince my teammate to let me have the kill because we're not sure where this guy is. We assume he's defending, but as you'll see when we get there, he's not. He's purely AFK. We both go round opposite sides just in case. My teammate reveals that he is AFK, so I travel around the back so I have easy shots into his rear armour. I managed to set him alight with my shot, and then my teammate goes 1 more shot and lets me get the kill. And that's that game, guys. So here's another game, guys, of a T-43. The reason all of the games today are going to be a T-43 is because it's basically the only tank I was playing for quite a while until I recently unlocked the T-44. Now these are all very good games which I have recorded using this tank. Of course there are obviously games that weren't so good and I'm not going to share them with you because they were terrible, but there are good games which I can show you, so I'm going to. And again, I'm going to let this one play from the perspective of which I played the actual battle. So here you can see that I'm moving out of spawn. This tank is actually reasonably fast and didn't opt to get the upgraded engine for this tank. And the reason for that was actually because I didn't feel it was worth the price. It costs 19, I think it was 19 or 17,000 experience to unlock, and what I realised was that you actually get it anyway with the next tank. So from that perspective, it wasn't something that I really thought was necessary to get, but I did have the rest of the tank fully upgraded by now. So I do have the best gun, the best turret, and the best suspension, all that sort of thing. Anyway, at the beginning there you can see I got a nice snipe shot onto an AMX 13, and I moved towards the right to block off its advance towards our position. However, I quickly realised that not many tanks are actually pushing over towards the right. I feel it's more necessary to push on the left. Now, this is a good example of a lemming rush gone wrong. Me and my friends recently have been talking a lot about lemming rushes and lemming in general. If you don't know what lemmings are, they're basically little things that go down the same route and as commanded by you. It's a game basically. And here you can see that basically their entire team floods on the right side of the map, and quickly we become overrun. Now from this point I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm not going to live. And well, honestly, it's crazy. It gets absolutely crazy. There are 3 tier 8s on each team in this battle, and I'm tier 7. As this Cromwell overconfidently comes straight over the hill, I get a nice shot into the lower plate on that. He continues to try and outflank the Yag Tiger on the right side, which gets shot himself by a VK. But with that, I reposition my tank to the left side of these rocks I'm using for cover to take a nice shot into the front armour of the AMX-12T. This actually detracts him, and I use that opportunity to get another shot at him when he missed his second auto-loader shot. I unfortunately miss using third person, which is unfortunately the case, and learning from my mistakes I quickly switch to sniper mode, as I realise there is an IS-6 and the Tiger pushing forwards on the right side of the map, and I continue to use these rocks for cover as I shoot the Tiger again in the front armour. So the IS-6 was taken care of by the VK-4502, but now it's my job to take care of this Tiger, and knowing I have enough health to really take the damage, I decide it's time to go for it, and I get a quick sneaky kill onto the Tiger, bouncing a shot actually from a Yag Panther. And with that I shoot it in the side armour, giving me a nice amount of damage onto that, and then go on to shoot the T-29 just underneath the turret. So that does 137 damage and leaves the T-29 on very low health. I try and get another sneaky hit under the turret, but from that angle it's never really going to work. So I decide to load my premium shell and go for a nice hit in the front armour for another 172 points, and then finish it off with a shot in the side armour with a normal shell. With that, the Yag Panther's left, and I get a lucky shot into the middle front armour of the Yag Panther, and then get hit in the side by a T-25-2 which is flanked round on the right side. But here you can see we've pretty much stopped the advance of all those tanks that pushed over on this side, and I've got 3 kills out of it. The first being the Tiger, the second being the T-29, and the third being the Panther. I then go on to shooting at this T-25 too, before rushing towards it to get into an outflanking position as the heavy tank behind me continues to fire towards it. So knowing my tank's pretty manoeuvrable, I decide to use the speed to get up the hill and get behind this tank before he knows what's hit him. So using the third person camera, I see that he's actually still got his back towards me as he begins to reverse. As I peek over the ridge, I use third person to get a hit onto him and then use the speed of my tank to ram him in the side and shoot him again just underneath the turret using third person. I then remain in third and then go into sniper mode to finish him off with a very close range shot. Now I'm just going to warn you now, the chat in this does get pretty heated as I argue for the reasoning for capturing and not killing in this game. There's something that a lot of people go on about, and honestly, I'm not sure what's better. Here you can see I got a nice sniper shot onto the low, take another but unfortunately miss. But basically what I was getting at is that a lot of people would prefer to kill everyone than capture the base. Obviously it's a lot better and it feels better, I guess. I'm not sure though if it actually gives you more experience. I assume the win modifier is basically the same whether you kill everyone or capture. Now the only difference that can be made with experience is who gets the damage on the last few kills. So if somebody's trying to be a bit selfish, then they will obviously want to get those hits. Here you can see I push over the ridge and line up a shot into the rear armour of the lobe. Unfortunately the shell ricochets off the rear armour as I fire another one into his side track. Quickly reversing, I manage to dodge a shot which hits the front of the dune and fire another one quickly as I poke back over using the sniper shot. Seeing he's only on 12 health, I go for the last shot onto him, hitting him again in the side, leaving him on 1% HP for the IS-6 to finish him off. Now at this point, I'm just going to speed up the rest of the game from now on, because the Hummel that's left on the enemy team is nowhere to be seen. I go back to the back of their spawn, and you'll see that basically I can't find him. And I think it's an absolute waste of time to drive around the entire map looking for this thing. So seeing that he's not really around, I decide to go back to the base along with the VK4502 to just capture for the win. Anyway, I was arguing that the lower plate of the front of the low was actually quite easy to penetrate, and the IS-6 was accused of using gold ammo. Now I don't see any fault in using gold ammo. Obviously for certain occasions like me on the T-29 where I could only see his front armour and that's the only ammo I had that could penetrate was my gold ammo, so I only carry one shell for extenuating circumstances like that, so I don't see any problem with it as long as you use it properly. But anyway, here you can see that we're capturing this base and I get nice and snug next to a wreck in the cap point. So basically from now on, just going to continue to speed it up. The RT continues to fire onto the capture point as any RT would, and I basically argue that there's no point in really going to find it because it would waste time completely. There is obviously 4 minutes left on the clock, but the time spent driving over there and killing it and then driving back would not go well. Anyway, the Hummel gets a lucky shot onto the VK4501, resetting the capture points at 92. But fortunately we just begin to drive around until it's eventually captured. Right towards the end the Hummel does reveal itself, but basically that was that by then, and we'd already won the game. So hope you enjoyed that one. Moving on to the third and final match today I'm going to show you on World of Tanks. I'm once again playing the T-43 on the map Airfield. As you can see, I'm in a platoon again with the Black Prince that I was playing with in the first match I showed you. And we decide that it's in our best interest to go down the right or left side of the map. You can see that we've been tiered pretty highly. I deem my tank as not the best tier 7 there is. Russian mediums aren't the best mediums in the game, for sure, but I really enjoy playing them, and I don't know why. I think it's just their looks, but I do like the front turret, the turret being placed forwards on the tank. That I really like that, and it's really good for peeking around and sniping people from distance. Also, the armour on these Russian tanks is actually really well sloped, so you do ricochet a lot more than you would in other tanks. Obviously there are exceptions to that, like the American mediums, which are quite sloped, but I always felt that I survived a lot longer in these tanks than I have in any other tank I've ever played in before, and that's why I love them so much. Anyway, here you can see I move up onto the left side of the airfield and hide in the bush on the side of that ridge. When I don't see anyone coming towards me, like any light tanks, I basically decide it's a good idea to move up with the rest of the team. Now this is another good example of a lemming team that has gone wrong. I push forwards with this other medium tank, the Type 59, and bump into a Tiger, which I try and shoot in the top of the turret, but unfortunately penetrate but don't do any damage. So anyway, seeing that and these other heavy tanks around, I decided it's about time I got into some cover. Now moving further up, I reveal even more tanks on the left side. And I try and peek over, but the gun depression isn't good enough for that. So seeing the low approaching on the right, I just back all the way down and then get back into the cover as quickly as possible. So now it's really, I can't do very much. I can try and flank, like you can see I tried to do there in third person, but unfortunately missed due to not using sniper mode. A low racks the Tiger 2, and I swing round for another quick hit on the Black Prince as the Type 59 distracts it. All those 5 heavy tanks push down on the right side now towards me and my teammate, so I decide to travel back up the hill towards this Tiger P, which is being charged by the T-42. Only the Black Prince turns round to fire upon the T-32, so I sit at the top of the hill getting side shots on the side of the Tiger P. Using a nice shot into the rear engine, I set the Tiger P alight and do a nice chunk of damage there as I swing down to shoot the Black Prince in the side of the turret. You can see when I was shooting at the Tiger P that I was deciding between shooting at the commander's hatch and the engine. Luckily in the end I could see his engine, so I decided to fire at that. Now you can see a couple of heavy tanks have moved around behind me but aren't focusing on me very much. With the Black Prince trying to approach me, I go down the hill and get behind the KV-3 after giving the IS a shot in the back. The IS-3 then sets alight the KV-3 and the IS finishes it off as my teammate and another tank finishes off the other tank that was over there. Sorry if that sounded a bit weird. Anyway, with all those tanks sorted out, I haven't got any kills, but I did a lot of damage and I survived. And I was very chuffed with that. It doesn't happen very often, especially when there's that many tanks in that confined space and they're all heavy and I'm a little medium tank. But I think I did quite well in this one, which is why I wanted to show it to you, of getting in the flanks. So here you can see that I'm now coming round to get some rear armour shots onto the Tiger 2, but spot another rushing artillery piece. Now obviously because it's near the end of the game now, he's rushing forwards to try and get a kill, but as he goes across I use my sniper mode to get a nice good chunk of damage onto him as he passes by. Now with that, a T-29 kills a Comet on the enemy team and I finish off that artillery for a nice kill. I then realised that the Tiger II is actually turned around and manages to hit me in the underside of the front of my tank. But seeing that he's about to turn his turret round, he's trying to bait me towards firing at him. The IS-3 faces his armour towards him and allows me to shoot, get forward enough to shoot the Tiger II in the side armour, securing me the kill. Now it's just my job to find the last arty on the team. Obviously, because there's a lot of us left, we want to go for all the kills. So that's the easiest thing to do, and I travel to the most likely place on the map where he's going to be. And here you can see that I spot him, do a nice chunk of damage before the IS-3 finishes him off. And that wins us the game. So I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you would like to see more World of Tanks, please vote for it in the comments. But if you would like to see something else next week, vote for that instead, like PlanetSide 2, Europa Universalis 3, whatever you can think of. Vote for it. If I have it, I'll play it. And yeah, so next week I'll play the game that gets voted for the most. If it's more World of Tanks, then so be it. Probably be games with my T-44. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.